Imagine a land where the earth itself breathes, where fire simmers beneath moss-covered plains, steam rises from fractured ground, and molten rock circulates just kilometers below your feet. This is Iceland, the northern outpost of the Ring of Fire, a volcanic island forged where continents pull apart and the planet's interior is laid bare. Straddling the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, Iceland sits astride two diverging tectonic plates, the North American and Eurasian, separating at roughly 2.5 centimeters per year. That slow but relentless motion fuels one of the most geologically active landscapes on Earth. Across its 103,000 square kilometers lie more than 200 volcanoes, 600 hot springs, and over 800 geothermal zones, each a vent into the planet's inner engine. These are not merely spectacles of heat and steam, they are windows into Earth's formation, places where geology is not abstract, but immediate. From the steaming river valleys of Reykjadalur to the lava-scarred expanses of the Reykjanes Peninsula, Iceland's geothermal heartland tells a story of extremes. Ancient Norse settlers once read these landscapes as the work of gods and giants, realms of fire and ice woven into sagas of survival. Today, geologists read the same terrain through seismic data, magma chambers, and isotopic signatures, decoding processes that shape continents themselves. Yet Iceland's most remarkable achievement is not merely enduring this volatility, but mastering it. Here, geothermal energy is not a novelty. It is infrastructure. Nearly all electricity is generated from renewable sources, and approximately 90% of homes are heated directly by geothermal systems. Hot water drawn from deep reservoirs and delivered across cities through insulated veins beneath the ground. What once threatened survival now sustains it. This union of raw geology and human ingenuity culminates in places like the Blue Lagoon, a man-made geothermal spa formed from the effluent of a nearby power plant. Milky blue waters rich in silica and minerals transform industrial byproduct into tranquility, symbolizing Iceland's philosophy. Nothing is wasted, not even volcanic heat. As of 2025, Iceland continues to push the frontier. Projects such as superhot rock drilling, which taps magma-adjacent reservoirs exceeding 400 degrees Celsius, promise to revolutionize geothermal output, producing far more energy from fewer wells with minimal surface impact. It is a glimpse of a future where clean power is not extracted despite nature, but in partnership with it. This is a land of constant renewal, where destruction births creation, where fire becomes light. To walk Iceland's geothermal fields is to feel the planet alive beneath you, to sense time, pressure, and transformation at work. It is a reminder that sustainability is not restraint alone, but understanding. Prepare to feel the heat beneath your feet. The realms of fire and steam await. Our exploration begins at the edge of a tearing continent, on the Reykjanes Peninsula, Iceland's southwestern frontier, where the Mid-Atlantic Ridge claws its way out of the Atlantic and onto dry land. This is no gentle introduction. Reykjanes is raw, elemental, unfinished. Stretching roughly 70 kilometers from Keflavik to the open Atlantic, this UNESCO Global Geopark is one of the few places on Earth where you can walk directly between tectonic plates. Here, the Eurasian and North American plates drift apart in real time, their separation amplified by Iceland's position above a mantle plume, a column of superheated rock rising from deep within the Earth. The result is a thin, fractured crust and a landscape in constant negotiation with magma. Beneath your feet, molten rock lurks just 2 to 5 kilometers below the surface. Above it, more than 100 geothermal fields hiss, bubble, and breathe, each a pressure valve for the forces below. Earthquakes ripple through the peninsula by the thousands every year. Many too, small to feel, others sharp reminders that this land is alive. Lava fields, black, jagged, and glassy, spill across the terrain like frozen rivers, scars from repeated basaltic eruptions. In 2024, the world watched as Fagradalsfjall erupted once more, reopening fissures that glowed red against the night sky. The eruption was not an anomaly, but a continuation, part of a volcanic cycle reawakened after 8 centuries of dormancy. Reykjanes geologists warn has entered a new era of sustained activity that may last decades. Venture deeper and the ground begins to dissolve into steam. At Gunuvur, Europe's largest mud pot, the earth roars openly. A churning cauldron nearly 20 meters wide, it hurls superheated steam skyward at temperatures approaching 300 degrees Celsius. The power here is born when seawater seeps deep into fractured bedrock, encounters extreme heat, and flashes instantly into vapor, expanding violently, reshaping the surface above. The air reeks of sulfur. The ground trembles. This is geothermal energy in its most primal form, and yet just beyond the steam, humanity has learned to listen and to harness. The Reykjanes power station stands as a monument to controlled fire. Drawing from geothermal reservoirs beneath the peninsula, it produces roughly 100 megawatts of electricity, along with vast quantities of hot water for district heating. Using binary cycle turbines, the plant captures energy from lower temperature fluids, re-injecting water back into the earth and minimizing emissions. It is a closed loop, efficient, renewable, and deeply Icelandic. But long before turbines and transmission lines, people learned to survive here by reading the land. The Vikings, who began settling Iceland around 870 CE, encountered a world unlike any they had known. Fire rose from the ground. Rivers steamed in winter. Valleys smelled of sulfur. To them, this was no coincidence. It was the realm of gods and giants. In the sagas, written centuries later, but rooted in lived experience, geothermal features become lifelines. In Grettis saga, the outlaw Grettir Asmundarson survives exile by sheltering near hot springs, using their warmth to endure winter and recover from wounds. The land, though dangerous, offers mercy. In Vatnsdæla saga, settlers such as Ingimundur the Old bathe and wash clothes in hot springs, seeing them as divine gifts in an unforgiving new world. These were not poetic exaggerations. Archaeological evidence confirms that early Icelanders used geothermal heat for cooking, bathing, heating homes, and even metalworking, exploiting naturally heated stones and steam vents as primitive forges. Survival here demanded adaptation and respect. Reykjanes is where that relationship began, where humans first learned that fire need not only destroy, but sustain. This peninsula is not scenery. It is a laboratory of Earth's interior, a proving ground for coexistence with chaos. And as we move onward, deeper into Iceland's geothermal heart, remember this: every plume of steam, every trembling rock, every saga whispered through the wind is part of an unfinished story still being written beneath our feet. Push northeast, and the land opens like a living manuscript. This is the Golden Circle, a roughly 300-kilometer arc through Iceland's geothermal soul, where geology, mythology, and human governance collide in plain sight. Our first threshold is Þingvellir National Park, a place so foundational it anchors both continents and civilization itself. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2004, Þingvellir sits directly atop the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, where the North American and Eurasian plates part ways by several millimeters each year. Nowhere else on Earth is this planetary rift so exposed, so legible. The valley floor fractures into fissures and grabens, pulled apart by tectonic tension that manifests as earthquakes, volcanism, and geothermal heat across the island. One fissure steals the breath entirely, Silfra. Filled with glacial meltwater filtered for decades through porous lava, Silfra's waters hover at 2 to 4 degrees Celsius, yet remain astonishingly clear. Visibility exceeding 100 meters. Divers and snorkelers drift between continents here, one hand brushing North America, the other Europe, suspended in a crack that widens imperceptibly each year. It is geology slowed to human scale, time made tactile. But Þingvellir is more than stone and water. It is the birthplace of law, In 930 CE, Viking chieftains chose this fractured plain to found the Alþingi, the world's oldest continuously operating parliament. Each summer, leaders gathered to settle disputes, recite laws from memory, and forge alliances, their voices carrying across a landscape shaped by seismic forces. The choice was deliberate. Lava walls amplified sound, open plains allowed safe assembly, and the earth itself, split, restless, may have felt sacred. In Norse cosmology, landforms were alive, imbued with spirits. Cracks in the ground were not flaws, but messages, omens from the gods. From Þingvellir, the road bends east into rising steam. Welcome to Haukadalur Valley, the beating heart of Iceland's geothermal identity. Spread across just 3 square kilometers, this basin contains more than 40 hot springs, fumaroles, and geysers, all fed by subterranean heat from magma chambers below. This is where Iceland gave the world a word, geyser. First mentioned in written records in 1294, the Great Geyser once erupted with terrifying force, columns of boiling water blasting up to 70 meters into the sky. Though mostly dormant today, its legacy endures in its neighbor, Strokr. Every 6 to 10 minutes, Strokr swells, trembles, and explodes, launching scalding water 30 meters upward in a rhythmic pulse, driven by a simple but violent mechanism. Groundwater seeps down, heats beyond boiling under pressure, flashes to steam, and detonates skyward. It is physics, performed on schedule. Geologists explain that this intensity is no accident. Iceland rests atop an anomalously thin crust, averaging 18 kilometers, stretched over a mantle plume that funnels heat from deep within the earth. Across the island's 30 active volcanic systems, heat flow reaches 150 milliwatts per square meter, nearly 5 times the global average. This excess energy fractures rock, heats water, and sustains one of the planet's densest concentrations of geothermal features. The Vikings sensed this long before science named it. In Njáls saga, one of Iceland's greatest literary works, fire becomes fate. The infamous burning of Njáls homestead is more than tragedy. It mirrors the land itself, where flame both destroys and renews. Volcanic eruptions raise fields, yet enrich soil. Hot springs scald, yet heal. To the Norse mind, geothermal power symbolized moral balance, justice delivered through fire, rebirth born of ash. Here in Haukadalur, that worldview feels inevitable, and the ground trembles. Steam blinds. Water erupts without warning. The Golden Circle is not a tour, it is a thesis. A declaration that Iceland's identity is inseparable from its geology. That law was born in a rift. That myth rose from steam. That fire, when understood, becomes foundation rather than fear. And as we continue onward, deeper into this geothermal crucible, remember, every eruption is a sentence, every fissure a paragraph. And Iceland, still writing itself, invites us to read the earth as it speaks. Ascend now into Reykjadalur, Steam Valley, where the earth exhales openly and the line between wilderness and wonder dissolves with every step. From the town of Hveragerði, a 3-kilometer hike winds through mossy hillsides and fumarole-scarred slopes, the air growing warmer, wetter, alive. Steam rises from cracks at your feet. The ground murmurs. This is not scenery. It is a process unfolding in real time. At the valley's heart flows a geothermal river, unlike any other on Earth. Here, clear mountain water is naturally heated to around 38 to 40 degrees Celsius, warm enough to bathe beneath open skies. Unlike volcanic hot springs fed by magma chambers, Reykjadalur belongs to Iceland's low-temperature geothermal systems, more than 250 of them nationwide, where rainwater seeps deep underground, absorbs heat conducted from hot bedrock, and rises again along fault lines fractured by tectonic strain. Altitude lowers the boiling point, allowing warmth to surface gently, sustainably, endlessly. This quiet heat was treasure to the Vikings. In Landnámabók, the medieval book of settlements, Iceland's first colonists repeatedly name farms and valleys after steam: Reykjir, Reykjalíð, Reykjadalur, seeing vapor as proof of life beneath barren land. Steam meant warmth, fertility, survival. These places were believed to be guarded by landvættir, protective spirits bound to the terrain itself. To settle near geothermal vents was not merely practical. It was spiritual alignment, a pact with the living earth. From Reykjadalur, our journey drives north into a harsher, more volatile chapter. Welcome to Mývatn, in Iceland's northeast, a 50-square-kilometer geothermal labyrinth born of fire and rupture. This is a landscape still unfinished. Lava fields ripple outward from ancient eruptions. Pseudocraters dot the plains like scars. And rising above it all is Námafjall, also known as Þingvellir, a boiling cauldron of mud pots, fumaroles, and sulfur vents. Here, the earth abandons subtlety. Steam vents blast from the ground at 100 degrees Celsius, carrying the stench of sulfur that stains the soil in violent yellows, reds, and whites. Iron oxides, sulfur crystals, silicates precipitating before your eyes. Mud bubbles like molten clay. The ground hisses, spits, and collapses without warning. This is a high-temperature geothermal field, directly fed by magma intrusions from the Krafla volcanic system, one of Iceland's most active. Krafla has erupted 29 times in recorded history, most famously during the Krafla fires between 1975 and 1984, when magma repeatedly forced its way toward the surface, cracking roads and swelling the crust by meters. Iceland, on average, experiences a volcanic eruption every 3 to 4 years. A reminder that this island is not ancient and static, but young and perpetually under construction. Harnessing this instability stands the Krafla Power Station, a monument to Icelandic ingenuity. Steam drawn from 33 boreholes, drilled up to 2 kilometers deep, drives turbines producing around 60 megawatts of electricity. Clean, renewable power drawn directly from the planet's internal heat. What once inspired fear now fuels homes, schools, and industry. The Vikings, lacking turbines and boreholes, interpreted places like Mývatn through myth. Norse cosmology spoke of Muspelheim, the realm of fire, a primordial world of flame and chaos ruled by the fire giant Surtur, destined to engulf the cosmos at Ragnarok. Geothermal fields, belching steam and fire from the ground, were seen as thresholds, places where Muspelheim bled into the human world. Few sagas name Mývatn directly, but the imagery is unmistakable. These were lands to respect, approach cautiously, and never tame. And yet, here we stand, bathing in steam-heated rivers, generating power from magma, walking safely where giants once roared. From Reykjadalur's gentle warmth to Mývatn's violent breath, Iceland reveals its full geothermal spectrum, a planet's inner engine laid bare. This is not geothermal energy as abstraction or statistic. This is heat you feel on your skin, steam in your lungs, fire beneath your feet. And as we move onward, remember, every hot river is a conversation between rain and rock. Every fumarole, a message from the mantle. And Iceland, forever splitting, forever rising, invites us not just to witness the Earth's power, but to live in harmony with it. The ground is speaking, and here we have learned how to listen. Our journey through fire and steam reaches its most surreal culmination at the Blue Lagoon, a place that embodies Iceland's unique fusion of geothermal renewal and human ingenuity. Nestled on the Reykjanes Peninsula, this 8,700 square meter turquoise oasis appears almost otherworldly against a backdrop of black lava fields and rising steam. But its story begins not as a spa, but as a byproduct of industry. In 1976, engineers at the Svartsengi geothermal power plant drilled deep into a high-temperature reservoir. What emerged was not only steam to drive turbines and heat homes, but vast quantities of mineral-rich wastewater. Rather than discarded, the water collected in a shallow basin, heated by residual geothermal energy to a constant 39 degrees Celsius. Over time, silica, algae, and dissolved minerals reacted with the volcanic rock to create the lagoon's signature milky blue hue, a color that has become an icon of Icelandic landscape and alchemy. Unlike a stagnant pond, the Blue Lagoon is in continuous renewal. The water is naturally filtered and refreshed approximately every 40 hours, cycling nutrients and minerals through an intricate balance of inflow and outflow. Locals discovered its therapeutic properties soon after its accidental creation. Benefits for skin conditions such as psoriasis and eczema were noted anecdotally long before the site was commercialized. By 1992, the Blue Lagoon had been intentionally developed as a wellness destination. Today, it draws around 1.3 million visitors annually, each seeking the restorative warmth of its geothermal waters. But what makes this place exceptional is not just its beauty or its warmth, it is its commitment to sustainability. The Blue Lagoon operates as a carbon-neutral facility, recycling its water and leveraging the very geothermal heat that created it. Geothermal steam supplies electricity and district heating, while silica and other minerals are responsibly harvested with minimal ecological disruption. Here, amid steaming pools and black lava fields, visitors are invited not merely to bathe, but to reflect on Iceland's mastery of sustainable energy. Geothermal power in Iceland is not a niche technology. It is central to the nation's energy infrastructure. Approximately 29% of Iceland's electricity comes directly from geothermal sources. About 97% of space heating in homes and businesses is served by geothermal heat. By tapping abundant natural heat, Iceland saves an estimated 2.5% of GDP annually in energy costs. Across the island, geothermal plants illustrate this mastery. Hellisheidi Power Station, producing around 303 megawatts of electricity, also captures heat for Reykjavik's district system. Þingvellir Power Station, with roughly 120 megawatts, supplies both power and hot water to tens of thousands of homes. Together with other facilities, Iceland's geothermal infrastructure delivers 799 megawatts of installed capacity, supporting near-total reliance on renewables. The result is a dramatically low carbon footprint for electricity production, around 45 grams of CO2 per kilowatt-hour, far below global averages. And the innovation continues. In 2025, initiatives like the Iceland Deep Drilling Project are probing super-hot rock zones, where temperatures reach 400 to 600 degrees Celsius. If these supercritical reservoirs can be harnessed at scale, they could multiply energy output tenfold, using ultra-dense, high-enthalpy steam that pushes the efficiency of geothermal systems beyond what today's technology can achieve. For the eco-traveler standing in the warm embrace of the Blue Lagoon, this progress matters. Here, immersion is guilt-free. The lagoon's waters are part of a closed loop that feeds energy back into the grid, supports biodiversity, and preserves the very geothermal wonders that drew human eyes to this place in the Haukadalur. First instance, Iceland's achievement is not merely a technical feat. It is a blueprint, a demonstration that renewable resources can power a modern economy. Sustainable infrastructure can coexist with pristine nature, and ancient geological forces can be allies in humanity's transition away from fossil fuels. With 99.94% of its electricity generated from renewables, Iceland stands not at the end of its journey, but at the forefront of a global transformation. As steam rises from the lagoon's surface and the Atlantic wind cools your face, reflect on this. In Iceland, the Earth's inner fire does more than shape landscapes. It powers lives and heals bodies and inspires minds. Here, nature's fury has become our future. The realms of fire and steam await. As the steam slowly lifts from Iceland's geothermal realms, one truth remains unmistakable. This land does more than renew its waters. It renews our understanding of how humanity can live in balance with the Earth. Here, fire is not feared, steam is not wasted, and power is not extracted at the planet's expense, but borrowed with care. From the age of the Vikings, who survived on this volatile island by reading the land, honoring its spirits, and harnessing its warmth, to a modern nation that runs almost entirely on renewable energy, Iceland tells a rare, continuous story. A story where endurance evolves into stewardship, where survival matures into sustainability. Geothermal valleys once sheltered outlaws and settlers against lethal winters. Today, those same forces heat homes, light cities, and invite travelers into landscapes shaped by deep time. Every hot spring and power plant reflects a philosophy written into the bedrock itself. Work with nature, not against it. For the eco-conscious traveler, Iceland is more than a destination. It is a lesson. A reminder that exploration carries responsibility. That immersion should leave no scar. That renewal is both personal and planetary. Walk lightly across lava fields still cooling from recent eruptions. Soak in waters warmed by magma miles below your feet. Witness how innovation can protect rather than consume the wild. Because here, sustainability is not branding, it is necessity turned into art. As you depart these steaming valleys and fissured plains, carry this with you. The Earth is alive. Its power is immense. And when respected, it gives generously. Iceland does not ask you to conquer it. It asks you to listen, to learn, and to renew yourself alongside it. Thank you for joining this fiery voyage through the realms of heat and hope. Subscribe for more earthly epics carved by time and told by stone. Until next time, let the heat guide you.